Welcome back to Breakfast Television. Invitation extended to all the three major party leaders, including Elizabeth May. So Thomas Mulcair, first to take us up on our invitation. We're 2 weeks today from the election day. And here are the rules, all right? Here are the rules for every single leader that's coming in. There's no bashing.
No.
All we want to hear is why we need to vote for you. And we want to bring this back down to basic platform planks.
What are you most passionate about via your platform? So where shall we begin?
Because we want to try and cut through all of the noise.
Job creation, perhaps?
Big one. I'm also talking about things that are important for families that we've heard a lot as we've gone across the country, which is our plan for affordable, quality, $15 a day childcare. People are really enthusiastic about that. We're also talking about making sure we maintain our family farms. It's a complicated word, but we talk about supply management, which is a Canadian system that's allowed our farming families to hold on to their farms, not like the States where you lose them very often. So that's something that we think that should be held on to in the negotiation for the Trans-Pacific Partnership that we're hoping to hear about in the next little while, and I hope Mr. Harper doesn't trade it away.
No bashing.
No bashing. You have to put a loonie inside of our jar, our bashing jar.
That's a good idea. I like that. So we have as well, usually there's a disconnect between municipalities and the federal government. It's always been that way. The federal government always took care of the big stuff, but now more and more Ottawa is being called on to step in, especially when it comes to transit. And although the federal government has always had a bit to do with transit, it's never been more needed now. How do you spread that across the board? Toronto's in desperate need, but we know so is Vancouver.
One of the things that I've learned in my 35-year career working as a public servant and as a minister, I've been around the cabinet table, I know what it's like to make those tough decisions, is you have to be able to plan long term. So the NDP plan is to work with the provinces and territories on the big issues like housing, transit, infrastructure. For the Greater Toronto Area, we're talking about $10 billion over the next 20 years to give them the type of infrastructure that money that they need. So just on transit, it's $10 billion over the next 20 years. That's a good example of what we're going to allow them to do. Plan over the longer term horizon instead of 2-year plans, 3-year plans like we've seen in the past.
You've also got a goal for the set for the Syrian refugee crisis, aiming to have how many in Canada?
The United Nations has asked Canada to take in 10,000 between now and the end of the year. It's easy to do that. There's been arguments that, well, we have to take care of security issues, which of course we do, but that can't be an excuse to do nothing. And the United Nations has also asked us to make sure that we take in a total of 46, so that 10 plus another 36 between now and 2019, we would do that as well.
I want to speak out there to two different groups of people. There's the group that are passionate about the NDP, and there's the group that are afraid of the NDP. And right now, how do you, because it's no doubt the NDP has always been, you know, so much more interested in the social programs perhaps than the other parties, and some people are afraid of that, and some people really don't want you to give up on any of that. How do you assure the people who love the NDP that you're not going to sway? Sure. But how do you assure those people who are very much in the right wing saying, well, how can we trust an NDP government?
Well, what's interesting about, take that one example that I gave before, the child care plan. That's not only supported by families and communities, it's also supported by boards of trade and chambers of commerce. And it's not hard to understand why. They realize that for their employees here in Toronto, parents are paying $2,000 a month for an infant in child care. That's a second mortgage. That's $24,000 a year. So that's completely out of whack, and we think that we should sit down with the provinces and territories. Our plan would assume 60% of that cost federally. The provinces would pick up the other 40. And in a province like Ontario, we've said since the beginning that because they're already paying for 2 full years of kindergarten, that would be factored in what we would take into account. But overall, that is the type of thing that we're putting on the table. The NDP has a proud track record of balanced budgets. We have the best record of any party for balanced budgets. So if you go back to Tommy Douglas, he ran 17 balanced budgets in a row, and then he brought in full, free, universal public medical care, which became the norm across Canada. So we know that we have to do this on the solid foundation of balanced budgets, and that's what we're looking to do. We've said where the money comes from. Well, we would eliminate, for example, asking corporations, the largest ones, to pay a bit more, while reducing the taxes for the job creators, the small businesses. At the same time, we'll get rid of something called income splitting that specifically applies, Mr. Harper's bringing it only to 15%. We'll take that money, use it for things like universal affordable childcare.
Home stretch 2 weeks away. My gosh, it has been a marathon for you, and the secret is?
I think the secret is getting a little bit of exercise because they keep you in a controlled atmosphere all day long. So I get out very early in the morning and I go for a nice long walk. We were on the other end of town. We walked here today. It was great. It gave us a little bit of energy.
But were you wearing the T-Swift bracelet like Kevin Frankish because you could have danced in the dark?
That's okay. I don't want to jinx the Blue Jays. But my wife has taken a couple of months off work, and that's made a huge difference. Catherine's been with me every step of the way. So yesterday we did 6-city tour. Literally thousands of people were out to see us. Awesome. We did 6-city tour in Southern Ontario, where we're taking on the Conservatives, and we're looking forward to it.
NDP website?
NDP.ca.
NDP.ca. I want you to look it up. I want you to be informed. Like it or not, I want you to look at it and find out why you like him, why you don't like him. At least be informed.
And at Tom Mulcair to find out why Sarah Silverman is a huge fan.
She's a huge fan. That was great. Yeah, we were pretty happy about that, and she's backing Mira Orrick, a wonderful candidate for us in Vancouver, Granville, and we're really proud to have her support. Yeah,
she's hilarious.
All right, we're going to take a break on Breakfast Television. Be right back with what you need to know.